Welcome to Daily News Updates by the Shipping Tribune. Here we bring to you the latest maritime daily news in a concise, short-form video format, a first-of-its-kind initiative in the shipping industry. Please subscribe for regular updates. Before we proceed with the news, we are pleased to announce the upcoming 12th edition of the Asia Tribune Cargo Summit, DryCon 2026. The summit will once again bring together key stakeholders of the dry bulk trade for a full day of knowledge sharing and networking. We look forward to seeing you there. Make sure to register today. Freight market scenario by Saigal SeaTrade.
The Asia-Pacific Supramax market freight rates were mostly higher on April 13th. The Asia-Pacific Panamax market freight were mostly flat to higher on April 13th as supply and demand fundamentals remained fairly stable in the Pacific Basin.
OPEC lowers second quarter global oil demand forecast on Iran war. OPEC on Monday lowered its forecast for world oil demand in the second quarter by 500,000 barrels per day, the producer group's monthly oil report showed in its first public assessment of the Iran war's impact on the market. OPEC sees a smaller hit to oil demand from the war this year than some other forecasters, such as the US government's Energy Information Administration. OPEC also made no change to its full-year outlook as it sees consumption rebounding in later months. Crude cargo traffic likely to get caught up in war logjam again. A US naval blockade of Iranian ports coupled with the threat of a strong Iranian response has deepened uncertainty over energy cargo movements across the Gulf while heightening the risk of Iranian supplies getting stranded. The disruption is likely to further squeeze global supply and drive oil prices even higher. On Monday, Brent crude surged back up above the $100 a barrel mark after briefly easing to $91 last week when the US and Iran announced a ceasefire and talks. The two sides subsequently failed to reach an agreement during negotiations in Islamabad over the weekend, following which the US president announced the blockade. India has tied up significant volumes of crude and LPG from Iran in recent weeks, capitalizing on a temporary easing of US sanctions. India rises as China slows in mineral demand shift. Vale's push to expand iron ore shipments into India signals a deeper structural shift in demand, highlighting how one of the world's largest producers is positioning for a changing market. Media reports point out that Vale is targeting a stronger foothold in one of the fastest growing steel markets, underscoring a broader rebalancing away from China's once dominant role in driving seaborne iron ore demand. Recent commentary from major miners reinforces that trend. Vale's chief executive said in November that India's steel production could double by the end of the decade, while China's output has plateaued at roughly 1 billion tons annually. BHP echoed that view in February, noting that while Chinese demand remains resilient, structural weakness in real estate persists. US Hormuz blockade, neutral ships, aid allowed, unauthorized ships to be stopped. The US military has enforced a blockade in the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea east of the Strait of Hormuz, applying to all vessel traffic regardless of flag, the US Central Command said in a note to seafarers seen by Reuters on Monday. The advance notice said the blockade came into effect at 1400 GMT on Monday. Any vessel entering or departing the blockaded area without authorization is subject to interception, diversion, and capture, the note said. The blockade will not impede neutral transit passage through the Strait of Hormuz to or from non-Iranian destinations. Humanitarian shipments, including food, medical supplies, and other essential goods, will be permitted subject to inspection. Neutral vessels may still be subject to the right of visit and search to determine the presence of contraband cargo, the note added. Thank you for watching the video. Please hit the like button if you like the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the Shipping Tribune YouTube channel if you haven't already.